Now, at least 100 people are killed every year due to lightning strikes here in South Africa. In KwaZulu-Natal alone, a total number of 12 people have been killed by lightning in the last 2 weeks. Now, to talk to us about this strange weather phenomenon that we're seeing, it's, of course, a mystery still to science. We are joined from our Pretoria studios by Dr. Ryan Blumenthal, who is a chief Keraunopathologist. I hope I got that right, Dr. Blumenthal. Good morning to you.
Morning. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Just paint a picture for us, South Africa. Why are we such a lightning epicenter?
Well, we do experience a lot of lightning here. Sometimes, some people even say more than 6 times what's happening in the United States. We're seeing quite a bit of lightning deaths. I'm a forensic pathologist, and it's our most consistent weather killer. So we're seeing a lot of lightning-related deaths in our mortuaries.
What happens to a human body when it's struck by lightning, Dr. Blumenthal?
Well, it's complex physics. For every 3 people that die, 7 people will be injured. It's very complex physics, you know, and that's what makes this field so fascinating and why I got into it. Because sometimes you find a person dead on the side of the road. You don't know if this is a motor vehicle that killed him or if it's lightning that killed him. And we have to try and work out, you know, how they died.
Now, Keraunopathology, or lightning pathologist as you are, just tell us your role. What do you do?
Well, as mentioned, I'm a forensic pathologist, so we deal with unnatural deaths or other than natural deaths. And lightning is an other than natural death. So we have to find out why these people died. Because as I say, if it's an unwitnessed strike and someone is found dead, it can be one of the most difficult autopsies that one can do. If it's seen and it's witnessed, it's still very interesting as to how and why they die. And it's complex physics. It can affect the nervous system, the heart, you know. And as a Keraunopathologist, we have to work out the pathology of trauma of lightning on the human and or animal body.
Dr. Blumenthal, I'm joined here by our meteorologist, Tsietse Monari. He's with us in studio this morning. Tsietse, I wanted to bring you in here into this conversation because we see these kinds of reports, 12 people being killed the last couple of weeks. Is there anything that we should be especially concerned about with regards to lightning right now?
Yeah, well, of course, as the Keraun, how do you say that word again? Yeah, as it just said, is that we cannot, be outside or, be running around doing some excessive sports because those things can attract the lightning as well. When your body heats up, and that basically will attract you. And if you're standing next to tall structures, like poles and so on, you're basically also asking for it. So yeah, you need to be on the lookout. And because of our weather at the moment, especially towards KwaZulu-Natal, you're seeing some thunderstorms also developing along those parts. And with those thunder, that's what comes through the lightning. When a bit of instability in the air takes place, and then the friction that you get, a spark like that can be developed. And yeah, don't be playing around there. As he said, a lot of people get seriously injured by lightning, and it's also so difficult to say if somebody was killed by or struck by lightning when you are not there to see it. Yeah, also the autopsies, it's difficult to tell if you can actually if somebody was struck by lightning or not.
Dr. Blumenthal, let me just come back to you. I want you to give us a quick wrap around the myths with regards to lightning. There seem to be endless myths. Which are the ones that you want to point out to our viewers today that are quite common?
All right, thank you for that question. There are a lot of myths regarding lightning around the entire planet. Every culture has got its belief systems regarding and surrounding lightning. And we must respect that, and we're not going into the different cultural beliefs today. However, as far as we're concerned, lightning is completely random, anonymous killer. When thunder roars, go indoors. When you're outdoor in a thunderstorm, you are at risk of being struck and killed by lightning. There are many myths. Even certain scientists have myths about lightning. Some people believe that if you wear rubber shoes, it will protect you from lightning, whereas lightning laughs at 2 inches of rubber. Some people believe mirrors will attract lightning. That is not true. Tall structures, short structures. We've seen people struck in parking lots between high buildings. So You know, lightning does not read textbooks. It is completely random and anonymous, and anyone is at risk outdoors in a thunderstorm. Whether you have an umbrella or whether you don't have an umbrella, whether you have a cell phone, whether you don't have a cell phone, everyone is at risk from lightning outdoors. And when thunder roars, go indoors.
Dr. Blumenthal, thank you very much for joining us today, giving us those unique insights. Some of them, I must tell you, I wasn't even aware of that. Thank you for joining us from Pretoria today. Keraunopathologist, Dr. Ryan Blumenthal. I just want to wrap up with you here, you know, we see a bit of weird weather about. I heard that you brought us some of the weather that we're seeing around the world. Just take us through what you're coming to tell us.
If we can go to the weather system now, that's what I wanted to add on what Dr. Blumenthal was saying, is that not only in South Africa or, you know, in KZN, it happens all over the tropics. If you look at this map behind us here, the tropics, Latin America, as well as over the Philippines. And those are also places that are very sort of superstitious in nature. You know, people believe in, you know, sort of supernatural behavior of events. Like in, you know, the Mayas and the Incas back in the day, lightning there was a way of the gods being angry, or whatever the myths are, which we're not going to go into it. But they're very random. As much as they're common, they're also very, very random, and they can happen just about anywhere, almost at any place, depending on the weather situation at that time. But you see the very dark reddish and the blackish, that's where it happens a lot, obviously over the tropics, because of the sort of tropical weather that we get there in terms of the rainfall.
The intensity and the temperatures and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and then I brought something also interesting just for South Africa to show you towards KwaZulu-Natal, towards the eastern side of the country. And the the Lowveld of Mpumalanga, that's where you also get a lot of lightning. And if you look at the square per kilometer, there's about 12 to 14 lightnings per square kilometer every single year. Strikes, wow. which is quite a lot. There was a video, I was trying to find it, but I think NASA blocked it off, where they tried to show what one of their satellite stations is showing of the planet being struck by lightning. It actually looks like lightning bulbs going on and off over the planet. So they're very random, and they happen just about everywhere at any time all over the world.
No, just tell us quickly, there's of course, the weather's in the headlines every day, but there are a couple that you want to point out to us. Just share that with us.
This is what happened in the southern Israel. There was quite a flooding there, but if you think about it, the rainfall has been quite low along those parts. So any little bit of rainfall almost looks like a flood. But this one was...
So it's a little bit like a Karoo town flooding here in South Africa.
Yes, exactly. But this one was a little bit more severe because they had about 2 or 3 days of rainfall persistently, and that caused some flooding. You can see the cars are there. Lots of rainfall falling in a very short period of time. And then there's a tornado in Virginia, southern parts of the United States. Just have a look at this funnel cloud, you know, it basically looks like a downdraft, and that's what happened. You had warm air rising really quickly, and then it met with cooler air, and this instability happened, and it caused them 3 or 4 dead people in the United States from a tornado. It left devastating damage to property and you know, millions of dollars of damage left behind.
Now, yeah, in South Africa on the Highveld, we have these powerful storms. Why don't we see the tornado activity here in South Africa that we see in the US, for instance?
We have slightly different because we are in the southern hemisphere. So our sort of tornado or storms will come in the form of a tropical cyclone. We've seen a bit of twisters here and there in South Africa over the Free State Province and some parts of Mpumalanga, but they're not as bad, mostly because of the air movement. I don't know if you've heard of a thing called the Coriolis effect. It's how air is shifting from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere, and it all gets spun around. And in the United States, instead of tropical cyclones, they get hurricanes and tornadoes. So it's basically similar, but it just happens differently depending on the type of weather that is taking place in that certain region.
Dr. Tsietse Munare this morning giving us the reasons as to why we don't have it, but also be aware when there's lightning and storms around. Be conscious. Thank you for joining us as always. Paul Tsietse Munare is our resident meteorologist here on SABC News. Time for us to take a break. When we come back, we'll have a complete roundup at the top of the hour. Don't go away.